Welcome to Game 2 of the Starcross Cup Championship. This time, Vipix and Zartcloud are going to be playing as allies on the west side of Lierneux. And in this particular case, Rainbow Hamlet picked the map, so they picked Lierneux, and their opponents, Zartcloud and Vipix, picked factions, so they picked allies.
Ready for action. Area is ours.
So that will be a reversal from last game. Get rid of the fog of war, and right off the bat we will see mixed axis over here in the east. We have Dusty playing as Oberkommando West, scouting ahead with his truck. Looks like he's going. This is a very popular spot, by the way, for a battle group headquarters, so he's going to be setting one up there, sending Stern Pioneers up here towards the strategic point. And Honey Nuts has Pioneers moving down here through the south towards this strategic point, going to be going for the munitions, so they're going to be splitting their forces a little bit. It looks like they're not going to go hard for the fuel points, but instead they are going to dedicate a reasonable sized force for the munitions points here in the south. Meanwhile, on the left, we have Combat Engineers grabbing that strategic point, Conscripts grabbing this strategic point, moving forward, going to grab the fuel here in the center, and the rear echelon troops here from Vipix. By the way, mixed allies again from this team, so Vipix actually quite likes U.S. forces this tournament, unlike most competitors, so that's of course really good to see. And his rear echelon troops are going to be grabbing the North Fuel. Riflemen making a push here for the central strategic point, and I would not be surprised to see Vipix go for his classic Stuart. He's one of the very few people I've ever seen purchase a Stuart in a competitive setting. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see that at all. In fact, I just cast a game with Vipix yesterday where he was against Cheselin. Vipix versus Cheselin, he purchased a Stuart in that game, and he was using kind of an odd build that game. He got double Pathfinders. So, we'll see if he's planning to do something similar here, who knows. Stern Pioneers taking some damage from those riflemen as they try and cross the road, and he will be forced away. Kubelwagen, however, is moving up.
Orders complete.
Riflemen are going to be able to grab the central fuel. As of right now, it remains uncontested. The North Fuel is going to get taken by these Stern Pioneers, though, and the American won't be able to do much with the Kubelwagen here, keeping him pinned down. So the North Fuel is going to fall into Axis hands, but down here we have a pretty heavy push by Grenadiers through the forest, going to push away those Combat Engineers for sure. Meanwhile, Pioneers grabbing the other point. It looks like he's going to try and wipe the squadron retreat, but Grenadiers aren't that great at doing that compared to Riflemen. Combat Engineers are going to be able to get away. Grenadiers taking the southern victory point, but their conscripts moving up to support. He's in close range, giving the conscripts an advantage, and a sniper is also going to move up to pick off models. One Grenadier squad forced to retreat. Grenadier's getting sniped by the sniper from afar. He's definitely not going to win this engagement. He's moving up his Pioneers to try to assist with that close range DPS. He's actually maybe thinking of circling around to get the sniper, and the conscripts were forced to redirect their fire onto those Pios because of their higher close range damage. Molotov goes out, but it completely misses its target. And those Pioneers actually wiped that infantry squad from range. Look at that.
We are losing supplies to the enemy. Engineer standing by.
And there they go. Sniper does finally force them away, but somehow Honey Nuts managed to win this engagement thanks to his Pioneers moving up to support. Now all the trees are on fire. Meanwhile, in the north, it looks like Vipix is continuing to struggle. Dusty's Stern Pioneers cutting that Rifleman squad down.
Ready for action.
Not even sure if it's going to get away. He was a little late to retreat it.
Just reported Pathfinders ready for action.
Only 2 Stern Pioneers firing, though. Yeah, he will just barely manage to escape. Meanwhile, up here we have Riflemen getting caught by the Kubelwagen. They do manage to get into cover behind this truck. Grenade going out. Doesn't do anything. More Riflemen moving up here with rear echelon troop support, and Vipix let's see, Vivix has brought in Pathfinders and is building his captain now. So yes, he is almost certainly going to be going for that quick Stuart, as he tends to do. We do have riflemen moving up here. Meanwhile, here in the south, we actually have a second sniper from Zark Cloud making its way towards the victory point. And I don't know if snipers are a great call in this tight forested area. It can be difficult to get a line on your opponent, but it'll come down to positioning, as it always does. Honey Nut's moving some reinforcements down here. It looks like he's actually going to try to make a push for the central fuel. Meanwhile, rear echelon troops really need to retreat. Pathfinder's getting caught by the Kuba wagon. Riflemen also in a pretty dangerous position. A Sturmoffizier is moving up, so Dusty has chosen Breakthrough Doctrine. And there's an ambulance set up over here, providing some healing to Vivix forces. But it looks like it might get caught by these Volksgrenadiers here soon. Pathfinders and Riflemen taking up a position in this building. Grenade going off. Nice dodge. Takes up a position back inside the house shortly thereafter. Meanwhile, down here, it looks like Zark Cloud and Honey Nuts are going at it. Molotov being exchanged. 222 being upgraded on a scout car as it's hitting the field. Going to be circling around towards the south. Combat engineers grabbing the munitions. Pioneers grabbing the victory point. Grenadiers moving down south to grab the strategic point as well. Up here, the captain has hit the field and he's taking shots at these Grenadiers. Pathfinders trying to circle around to safety, trying to get to the ambulance without necessarily retreating. They will camo in the bushes while they're trying to heal up. More infantry circling around, dancing through the buildings. Dusty getting a little overzealous with those Sturm Pioneers. I don't think he's going to be able to do much here. Taking heavy damage. What is it doing? Retreat! Looks like they're going to get away just barely. Rifleman taking up position in the house once again. And there, this blob of Grens is one grenade away from having a bad time. But it looks like Dusty's hold on the north remains secure. Panzer Fusiliers moving up to take the fuel point once again. Kuba wagon continuing to be a huge nuisance. Some riflemen being forced to retreat because he's gone captain. Is going to make his major hit the field just that little extra bit late. Oh, nice mine. Very nice mine, and the 222 goes down. Nice play by Zark Cloud. But I'm not even sure that these conscripts are going to be able to beat these pioneers. They're so wounded. Taking damage. One forced to retreat. Honey Nut's pioneers are sufficient to force away the remaining conscripts despite losing his 222 here. Meanwhile, back up here towards the center, snipers continue to circle around. Pathfinders are a double vet now, up to 8 kills. Not bad. Sniping at range with them can be effective, certainly when there's a Kuba wagon, making it difficult for you to close the distance. And finally, his Stuart has arrived. He should hopefully be able to utilize that to take out the Kuba. Of course, now there's a Schwerpanzer headquarters set up over here on the right side, and I don't think that Vivix has seen it yet. So when he does spot it, it's going to create a zone in which that Kuba can sort of operate safely. Yep, now he sees it, being forced away. Pathfinder's going to try and grab the strategic point, but they just can't do it with that Kuba wagon firing on them. They will get suppressed there in the road. Probably be forced to retreat here. Snipers taking shots here in the center. Riflemen trying to take control of the central fuel. Meanwhile, the north fuel is going to go back to Vivix's hands by these riflemen. Excellent harassment by both teams for that northern fuel point this game. It's been very back and forth. Stuart does encounter some Sturm Pioneers, takes his first shot, but it does not connect. Dusty, now knowing about the Stuart, is going to be very careful with his Kuba wagon. I believe it's 2 shots to take down the Kuba wagon, and the Stuart has actually quite good accuracy, so Vivix takes out one Volksgrenadier model, and it will be forced to retreat, but the Schwerpanzer headquarters, of course, is going to suppress everything here. Looks like Zarkcloud didn't quite know about that. That was either a miscommunication or mismicro by him, because he was immediately forced to retreat by those flag bursts. Up here in the north, the counter-harassment continues. Looks like some Panzer Fusiliers managed to chase off some riflemen, and the fuel will fall back into Axis hands. Riflemen firing on Sturm Pioneers. Grenade going out though. Ooh, that could be nasty. Oh, not that bad. Not that bad. That could have been worse. Volksgrenadiers convinced to retreat. And once again, the riflemen have to pull back for healing. The ambulance has been pulled back to a much more conservative position. Looks like it took a lot of damage, potentially from mortar fire, or maybe even small arms, I'm not sure. Honeynuts Grenadiers continuing to circle around here through the south. And although Dusty's chosen Breakthrough, it looks like Honeynuts hasn't chosen a doctrine yet. We might be seeing Luftwaffe supply from him again, like we have been seeing, but who knows. All of his doctrinal options in this game look like they're perfectly reasonable. Zarkcloud has gone counterattack tactics, so nothing crazy from him this game like we saw in the EU finals where he went, I don't even remember what that doctrine is called. Shock Army or something? Something with PPSH conscripts that I don't remember. Shock troops hitting the field though, they're going to be a really powerful asset to him. Pushing away those Grenadiers here in the south. Probably also going to push away those Pioneers. These Grenadiers have to continue maneuvering away. They don't want to start getting picked off by Zarkcloud's snipers, dealing some nice damage. Oh, that was a nice mortar. Almost wiping that rifleman squad. He really needs to retreat them. Grenade going out on the conscript blob. Nice dodge. Molotov also being exchanged. Dodged again. Oversoldaten circling around to take shots. And our MG34 is dealing pretty good damage, but nothing too disastrous. And then the Obers will retreat. Oh, the Stuart also being mobilized here towards the center to support. Riflemen taking heavy damage and forced to retreat.
Enemy Panzer engaging! Battle promotion!
Oh! That grenade just wiped those conscripts, and the Molotov nearly wiped those Volksgrenadiers, but one model manages to survive, make it into that house. Meanwhile, here in the south, an Ostwind is hitting the field from Honeynuts. Interesting choice. And his teammate Dusty actually got an Ostwind last time they played this map, but that was his double Ostherr, and a shock troop squad is completely destroyed. So that Ostwind actually makes quite a grand entrance. And the Allies don't have much of a counter for that right now. Zarkcloud is still about half a command point away from his KV-1. Riflemen being forced away in the north. Pack howitzer firing. Some sort of an interesting purchase. It's so expensive. Vivix seems like he's kind of already a little behind, but hopefully he can make good use of it. Of course, the way infantry clump up this patch, it's certainly possible to get some lucky hits.
Point is being overrun. Ready for orders.
Ostwind circling around. Riflemen firing on the Panzer Fusiliers. Nice dodging of that grenade. Pack howitzer firing on the building. Stuart also moving up to support. Panzer Fusiliers taking heavy damage. They will get away relatively unharmed. Austrian moving up to support as well. Dusty's Blob making its way towards the northwest victory point. We also have the north fuel getting contested once again. South victory point getting contested once again, although the Austrians are being mobilized to deal with those threats. Grenadiers taking up position on the central fuel to defend, with the mortar available to support as well. Looks like the American infantry are getting overwhelmed. Grenade going out. Oh, geez, he was a little late to react to that one. Nearly loses the squad, but fortunately the grenade placement was just slightly off.
Contact! Enemy infantry! Krauts are sniffing around our asses. Tactical point being captured.
Molotov going out on those Grens. No flame crits though, and they will make it away pretty much unharmed. Zark Clouds, conscripts making their way through the south. Looks like a demo charge went off down here. I missed it. I wonder what happened. Conscripts being forced to retreat. Stuart firing on the Obersoldaten. Only one model loss inflicted by infantry. Stuart continues to miss the shots. And Vipix has been microing it quite well though. It's up to 10 kills. And it looks like Dusty is thinking of building a mechanized regiment headquarters somewhere in this area for vehicle repairs.
Say again. Arms complete. Contact! Infantry! Taking small arms fire!
It looks like Dusty's Kuba wagon is dead. Not entirely certain how that happened, but looks like it went down at some point. Maybe Vivix caught it with his Stuart. Yeah, I think he did. One vehicle destroyed. Fortunately, the Stuart also just went down to the Volksgrenadiers with a stolen bazooka and a Panzerschreck. His captain has also gone down, so that would be where they got that bazooka, and he's calling in some paratroopers to help bolster his lines. Major taking heavy casualties though from infantry support gun. Infantry support gun for its part is up to 4 kills, whereas the pack howitzer is up to 7. So both of them sort of having a slow start, but maybe they'll come into their own. Looks like a KV-1 has finally been brought in to counter the Ostwind. Gets a nice shot off on the rear armor. There's not really that much available to counter, but he's probably not going to go in like ridiculously hard either. Ostwind will pull to safety behind the Schwer Panzer HQ, and the KV-1 will continue to just defend this north area. We do have shock troops taking the south victory point, making it rather dangerous for those grenadiers to try and circle around, but a Panzer IV is hitting the field now, and that's going to be more than enough to force those shock troops to retreat. Looks like he will be able to capture the point though. Retreating with only one model lost so far. Meanwhile, here in the center, the fuel still belongs to the Axis. North fuel also still belonging to the Axis, making things quite difficult for the Allies to bolster their armor. Sturmoffizier grabbing the victory point up here. Looks like M1919 just got dropped by some paratroopers. That's not good. That's very bad, in fact. And the Axis have cut off the south munitions. The Allies now have almost no map control at all except for their victory point. KV-1 takes shots. to 5 kills now. Conscripts moving up behind. And if the Allies construct a B4, certainly might help them in these engagements. In fact, there it is now. It's considerably larger than the American equivalent sitting next to it. it's kind of funny to see those next to each other. Pack Howitzer is firing though, getting some shots off on the Osterheim mortar. Honeynuts mortar has 18 kills. It's Vet 3. Obersoldaten moving up, trying to fight against the Sturm Pioneers and Oberkommando Obersoldaten. Bundle grenade almost wiping the paratrooper squad. The Pathfinder's almost wiping the Sturm Pioneer squad with the stolen LMG. Meanwhile, here in the north, this harassment attempt just got shut down really hard by these, by the Ostwind and Pioneers, and we also have Luftwaffe supply being chosen by Honeynuts, dropping himself some fuel here in the north. So he might be thinking of taking it even higher to tier 4 for Panthers. But maybe not. They know that the scariest thing that they could possibly have to fight at this point is the KV-1. It's the only heavy tank the Allies have at their disposal, having gone airborne and counterattack tactics. So they may not need to get Panthers. They might be able to get by on just Panzer IVs, but we'll see what they choose to do. Panthers certainly wouldn't hurt. Now that he has 2 medium tanks helping him bridge the gap, as long as he can keep them alive. He certainly is making good use of them. The Ostwind is up to 16 kills. That might be the most kills I've seen on an Ostwind in this entire tournament. Infantry forcing away some Overcommando West squads, and the map control is swinging back in favor of the Allies a little bit. If they can keep up the momentum, they are taking control of the south munitions and Victory Point. Meanwhile, some squads are being forced to retreat by this American blob. KV-1 putting pressure on the Ostwind. Panzer IV is moving around to flank though. B4 shot just went off somewhere. Not sure where. I don't know what he just fired that at. KV-1 forcing the Panzer IV to back off. Dusty's army actually looking a little small. He only has 1 of each of his infantry squads sitting here on his battle group headquarters. I'm not sure if the B4 has range. Oh, the B4 is dead. Oh wow, Honeynuts brought in a Stuka bombing strike on the B4 and it got taken out. Nice play. I wish I had heard that. I wish I'd heard the siren. I didn't get to catch that on camera. KV-1 circling through the south, forcing away all of these infantry. Shock troops are going to be able to grab that south munitions once again. And I thought that there was an update to the... Oh no, never mind. I think it had its health increased, but only like a little. Not enough to survive a Stuka dive bomb, but enough to survive like an artillery barrage, like a light artillery barrage or something. So the Stuka dive bomb will still one-shot these. So that was definitely part of the decision, I think. Part of the decision to take Luftwaffe supply by Honeynuts. Since Dusty has gone with the Jagdtiger, of course they will need an effective counter to the B4. Luftwaffe supply certainly provides that. We do have harassment happening up here in the north though. Pathfinders taking the strategic point, Riflemen taking the north fuel. This is a Jackson apparently, has been fielded. So any attempt to counter-harass by the Austrian, for example, will definitely get shut down. Nice play. He's almost certainly expecting some kind of armored push up there. But unfortunately, Honeynuts appears to just be sitting here getting repairs. He doesn't really have any intention of making a hard push for the north right now. Dusty reinforcing some of his infantry. He just has 1 of each kind of squad. Very diverse infantry army here from Dusty. He has 1 Ober, 1 Panzer Fusilier, 1 Sturm Pile with an LMG, 1 Befad Volks, and his Sturm Officieres. That's something. Oh, and a King Tiger. Look at that. So rather than going for a Yag Tiger, he's just going to grab a King Tiger. Yag Tiger would be not really necessary. I think I agree with this decision because they know that they're only really up against KV-1s. They don't need the Yag Tiger to fight an ISU. King Tiger will be able to throw his weight around with slightly better mobility and turret. Jackson moving down here towards the center to take shots on the Schwer Panzer HQ. Some Oberkommando West squads being forced to retreat. And those shots on the Schwer Panzer HQ were dealing devastating damage. There's also a KV-1 being moved up to screen. Pack Howitzer also supplementing the damage a little bit. It's going down so fast that Jackson is just tearing it to shreds. KV-1 screening the Ostwind away. It's blitzing to safety, but the Schwer Panzer HQ does go down. And Honeynut's medium armor is like nowhere nearby to support. He was trying to make a push for the south, and it looks like Dusty wasn't quite prepared to hold the line without his help. Of course, now that King Tiger is here, he made it to the line just a little too late, though. Just a little too late, and he lost his Schwer Panzer HQ, but I guess maybe he wasn't planning on purchasing any more units out of it. Obersoldaten would certainly not hurt, but he probably didn't really intend on getting any armor. Oh, so much for that. Pack Howitzer. Looks like he's going to destroy it entirely. He's had enough of that Pack Howitzer. Jackson firing. Continues to miss and bounce. Jackson really struggles against the King Tiger. You need, like, at least 2, maybe even 3. Of course, with a Panther here. Now they're really in trouble. Panther going in hard. It looks like Vivix is calling in an emergency P-47 rocket strafe. Rockets are connecting with the King Tiger, doing a little bit of damage. Not bad at all. The other pass kind of missed and hit trees and stuff. One of the rockets connected, did a little bit of damage to the KT, bringing it down to about 2/3. It will have to pull back. Meanwhile, here in the south, looks like conscripts are oorahing in towards the Panzer IV. Rocket Strafe is continuing to do some pretty heavy damage. King Tiger is now, in fact, down to about 1/3 health, so it will at least be forced off the field for some time. American infantry trying to get their bearings here, doing some reinforcing and healing. And the Ostwind does shoot down the P-47. I think it just crashed right here, but like the explosion graphic messed up or something.
Enemy is engaging us.
Conscripts get an AT grenade off on this Panzer IV and an AT gun, and KV-1 are being mobilized to finish it off. Honeynut's other medium armor is in the area and moving up to support, though. He has a Panther circling around from the north. Heavy damage going off on the KV-1 here. Oh, but it does take out the Panzer IV using only frontal shots to the frontal armor. Every single one seems to penetrate. Double AT grenade going off on the Panther. It now has a damaged engine with its rear exposed to the Zis field gun. But it fortunately will manage to just barely round the corner, and the Panther will probably be able to get to safety, but then again, maybe not. There's actually 2 American Jacksons moving it down to support. Oh, devastating shot on the frontal armor there. There's a mine right there. Fortunately, it will not be forced to chase.
They got wiped out.
Wow.
Contact! Contact!
Everything will be forced away. That is a pretty devastating blow, actually, for Honeynut's losing his Panzer IV and his Panther in that engagement there in the south. Assault artillery getting called in on this sector, but it's not going to hit anything. Meanwhile, here in the north, the Ostwind, of all things, the Ostwind is still alive.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
But it only has 19 kills. Last time we checked on it, it had like 16, so it hasn't really been doing much for the last several minutes. Jackson firing on the King Tiger.
A Panther has arrived from the fatherland.
King Tiger has been repaired though, and it's trying to push back infantry formations up here in the north. High explosive barrage going off on those Obersoldaten, but it's aimed a little long and everything is being forced to retreat. Bundle grenade there. Clears out the field gun. Netting them Vet 3. The American trying to out reinforce him here, but he's only got one LMG on the on those paratroopers because the Stern Pioneers stole the other one. New paratrooper squad being dropped in to help support against these Volksgrenadiers, but the King Tiger is making its way forward. It does have to be careful of those Jacksons, however, but it will be able to take shots on those infantry while the Jacksons are back behind the tree line. Meanwhile, here in the south, Ostwin moving in to support a new Panther being mobilized. Hopefully he'll be able to make better use of this one than the last one. He's probably going to be a lot more careful around his opponent's conscripts. Those AT grenades cost him his last Panther. Of course, with Dusty applying so much pressure in the north, it's looking really tough for the Allies now. They just can't keep up with the Axis economy because they have such great map control. It's making them suffer in these engagements. They just don't have enough stuff to counter everything they're up against here. King Tiger taking some penetrating shots here from the front. Pathfinder's taking heavy damage. They'll be forced away. Jackson's doing what they can from range, though. Doing really nice damage, and Dusty is going to be forced to blitz away to safety. Of course, the Jacksons are in no position to chase, unfortunately, but at the very least, that will push the King Tiger off the field for some time. A T-grenade does connect with the Panther here, but there's nothing in range to follow up this time. It's also got his frontal armor facing the correct direction.
Our sector. We fight bravely for the Reich. The enemy is down to 200 points.
Paratroopers firing. These Jacksons are really the only thing keeping the Allies in this game, keeping the enemy's tanks at bay. KV-1s just can't get it done, but that being said, they have so little that can counter all of this Axis infantry. There's way too much infantry for them to be able to slice through. And the snipers, unfortunately, haven't really been able to contribute all that much. Looks like a sniper did get taken down. This is a fresh sniper. This one's only got 15 kills at 33 minutes in. It's not much. Oh! Apparently those Volksgrenadiers just sniped a Jackson with their Panzerschreck. Not looking too good for the Allies here. Major goes down. The entire map in Axis hands. Obersoldaten cutting down anything that even makes its way out of the base. Vet 4 on them now. Infantry support gun also firing. Sturmoffizier providing his aura bonus to them.
Contact! Small arms fire!
Work completed.
Incendiary strafe coming in, but it actually lands pretty off target. Doesn't really do much. The Allies are trying to break out of their base here with those pushed by their infantry forces. We also have some harassment here in the south by shock troops.
Enemy infantry!
The Axis forces are going to prove to be too strong, I think. King Tiger's already been fully repaired. Infantry support guns now Vet 2 and has 18 kills, actually. Wow. Conscripts trying to grab territory. Only 100 points remaining for the Allies.
Protect the flank! The cavalry has arrived.
Lots of shots bouncing off the King Tiger's frontal armor.
Enemy fire!
3 Zis guns were firing on it just there.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Grenade going off. Looks like that's not going to really hit anything. Allies are pushing forward, doing what they can with what they've got.
You are showing weakness. We are down to 75 points.
75 points remain. King Tiger blitzing in to try and take shots on these snipers. One of them does go down. Now it's probably going to hits Vet 2. It's now trying to pull back. The Jackson's actually trying to circle around for a flank, getting nice shots off on its rear armor. King Tiger firing on the KV-1 though. Bit of a traffic jam here, taking shots from Panthers here from the south. KV-1 does go down. Oh, and the Jackson's main gun is destroyed, and the King Tiger is going to make it away with just a sliver. Vipix does not have the munitions to call in a P-47, and that all-in charge did not work because Honeynuts Panthers here in the south pretty much proved to be too much. And of course the Zis guns could not really get in range. And I'm not sure what happened. Whoa, I think. Did they surrender? It says playback over. I'm not sure. I guess they surrendered. I'm going to assume that's what happened. So that's the game. Alright, that's going to conclude Game 2, and now we're going to go into Game 3. Honeynuts and Dusty winning both of the opening games. And we'll see if they can do it 3 times in a row. So just as a reminder, in Game 1, Jaeger picked the map and Rainbow Hamlet picked their faction. That was on Moscow outskirts, and Dusty and Honeynuts picked Double Soviets. And in Game 2, it was Dusty and Honeynuts picked the map Liarneux, and Jaeger picked their faction, so they chose to play as mixed allies. And now for Game 3, they're going to swap the Game 1 factions. Jaeger is going to veto 2 maps, and then Dusty and Honeynuts will pick from the remaining 3. So the factions are going to be Dusty and Honeynuts playing as Axis. Then Jaeger is going to veto 2 maps from the pool, and Rainbow Hamlet will pick from the remaining 3.